Hello, Judy here from Thistledew Creations. I just finished doing my video about the Happy Mail where I received these Love Is clippings. And I haven't even looked through them all yet to see which ones I want to use first, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and do something with them today. And I just got back from my dad's. I was there for a week and I took a bunch of craft supplies in with me and I left my vintage photo ink. So I do have my oxide inks, which I just swatched the colors, and I've got these pink and red papers that I want to use with these Love Is. So I think I'm going to ink in Buck Rose, which is something that I have seen on different postings in the Facebook groups and thought, oh, that does look pretty, not just in vintage photo, and never did try it yet. So today's the day. I'm going to try inking with a color instead of vintage photo. So I've got these cards already made up. I have 3 of them here. Actually, I think this is one that somebody sent me. I don't think I made this one. But these ones I did. And these tags I did make. Actually, I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, no, that's one of mine. I just don't remember that. But I know I did make the music ones. So I thought I would do some little Valentine's collages to make some Valentine's content for you guys, because I haven't done a lot of Valentine's things, mostly ATCs I did in January. So I'm just going to grab my Valentine's case with all the Valentine's things in it. I don't have a lot of room here for everything, but just so that I can grab some supplies if I need them. So I know I want to use the Love Is. I gotta pick one out. This one has some pink on it already. Giving credit where credit is due. I want to find something that means something to me. Love is a 4-letter word that should be used and meant more often. Taking care of yourself for her. Listening to her problems when you have plenty of your own. Being the security she needs. A sorrow eased because there are 2. Telling him you love him this much. I kind of like that one. Picking out cloud shapes. Backing up his fish stories. I know someone for that one. Not leaving a steamy mirror after the shower. Writing down phone messages for each other. Well, we don't have those anymore, do we? Having someone to let it all out with. Don't want to talk about crying on Valentine's Day. Letting the kids name the new puppy. Ordering onion on your hamburger because he did on his. Buying wash and wear so she won't have to iron. What's that? I only iron for crafting purposes. Not worrying just because he has a cute secretary. Protecting her when the lightning flashes. When nothing in the world can change your mind. Love is when everything is ours instead of yours or mine. Slipping quietly into the other room when he snores. Daydreaming about her at the office. Making him a box lunch. Answering her nasty words with kind words. Knowing you're always number 1 with him. Yeah, that doesn't really apply right now. Thinking about him when you first wake up. Telling each other with your eyes. We do that. The big smile you wear when she tells you she's going to be a mother. Treating her tenderly when she's suffering from morning sickness. See, these would be good for a pregnant person. turning up the heat before she gets out of bed, opening the door before he gets his key in the lock, that feeling which makes your heart beat faster. I like that one. Turning down the radio when she has a headache, letting him have the last word sometimes, trying not to be angry at the same time, watching a special kids show with the kids, the funny feeling you get the first time he tells you that he loves you, I guess. Giving her most of the umbrella, still feeding him like a king when you're on a diet, decorating your first house yourselves, writing it on her bathroom mirror. Not blowing your top when dinner is a failure. Having a strong sense of loyalty toward each other. Listening to her woes, letting her keep the big hairy dog. Being able to admit it when you're wrong. Letting her blame your son's bad habits on your side of the family. Most of us have that. Sending his mother a thank you card on his birthday. That's a cute one. Believing that when he kisses, the hurt will go away. Not being possessive. Making him a cup of tea when he said he'll make it. Never holding back your affection. Making up quickly after a row. Enjoying yourself, it's later than you think. Leaving a message under her pillow before your trip. Leaving your credit cards at home when you go window shopping. Being understanding when he gets mad. Counting to 10 instead of cursing. Throwing away old love letters. I've had to do that. Gently squeezing her hand. Being doting parents. There's another one for family. Compromising when you have conflicting opinions. Choosing the photo which is most flattering to her. Helping your working wife with chores. Giving in, not giving up. Trying to keep the telephone bill low. Oh, good luck with that. Cleaning up your old mess before making a new mess. No, none of us do that. Being there whenever he needs you. Cheering her up when she feels sad. Having matching outfits. That's cute. We don't do that. Reminiscing about your childhoods. And not getting to eat all your lunch. Because she takes part of it. Giving up smoking together. A balloon, the more you put into it, the more it grows. Walking hand in hand on a moonlit beach. Everyone loves doing that, don't they? Thinking twice before making an unkind remark. More giving than taking. Letting him finish the story you started. Treating each other like very important people. Inviting his parents to join you on the picnic. Letting her crew your yacht. Helping people less fortunate than yourself. Trying a little tenderness. Biting your tongue when she left your new spade out in the rain. Letting her read the newspaper first. Wearing the tie she bought for your birthday. Buying her a whole new outfit to match the scarf she fancied. Bringing out the best in each other. That's a good one. Being unusually gallant. Letting her bury you in the sand. Babysitting while she takes evening classes. It's not babysitting if it's your own kid. That's the difference in then and now. Accompanying him to the doctor. Always have to. Leaving her the car with a full tank of gas. Buying the airplane tickets for her mother to come and visit. Some of these are really showing their age. Falling asleep together watching television. An evening stroll in the garden to check the new plants. I like that one. Keeping the toothpaste rolled up for the next person. Yeah, right. Trusting her to drive your antique car. Yeah. Growing dependent on each other. Caring more about her than life itself. Collecting on the way home something she urgently needed. Keeping your fights short and few. Worrying about him driving home on a rainy day. Putting the top up when she's just had her hair done. That's a good one for my dad too. Old car ones. Taking her to the beach when you'd rather watch the ball game. That doesn't happen often. Telling her how much you need her. Putting a shawl around her shoulders when it's chilly. Baking for him on a very hot day. Moving the garden furniture when he mows the lawn. Covering her when she falls asleep on the sofa. Not minding her arms around your sunburned neck. Showing the pride in his achievements. Giving him most of the bed while you hang off the edge. Listening again to how great his old car was. When his boys' night out becomes your night out. Giving up smoking so that her lungs don't suffer. Wanting to talk to her mother when she calls long distance. Being on the pier when his ship docks. Knowing the answer without having to ask the question. Surprising him at the office with a picnic lunch. A series of ups and downs. I like that one. So true. Keeping faith when he's out of work. Staying quiet while he watches the news on TV. Throwing her kisses at long distances. Surfing together. Moving her furniture again. Knowing you made the right choice more than 30 years ago. Letting him use the last of your hairspray on his cowlick. Letting him keep the junk you know should be thrown out. Well, that's me, not him. Calling her gorgeous when she's feeling fat and frowsy. Looking the other way when she weighs herself. Waiting an hour when she'll just be a minute. Having someone to go apartment hunting with. Throwing away your little black book. Caring for her come rain or shine. When he gets under your skin. Taking lots of pictures of him for the album. Keeping up with the ironing instead of the Joneses. Introducing her as your bride after 30 years of marriage. Cheering her up after she dented the car. Keeping his fishing bait in the refrigerator. Singing her praises to her mother. Telling him in every language you know. Trying to do the things he likes to do. Fishing. Giving him the supper paper to read in bed, or the Sunday paper to read in bed. Helping him wash his car. Helping her put on her false eyelashes. Being awakened with a kiss. I like that one. Showing her that chivalry is not dead. Window shopping in the rain. Not giving away the punchline to his joke. And cleaning the chandelier crystals together and not using her clothes brush on the dog. Oh, you can really tell they're from a different era, some of them. When the woman was supposed to take care of the man, for sure. So anyway, let's see what we can do with these. I'm going to start by inking them with pink. I'm not going to try tearing edges or anything on them because they've already been clipped out. It's authentic the way that they should be clipped. So I'm not going to do well, maybe I will do the antique car one. We don't have an antique car, but my dad is an antique car expert. So I'm just going to ink these in the Oh, I can't remember which color this was now. Buck Rose from Alina Craft Create. These come from Temu. I don't know if you can get them somewhere else. I've never seen them in stores, but they are available on Temu. I've been getting them sort of one at a time when I can get them for half price. They're about $7 or $8 normal, so I try to get them when I can get a half price item. Not that I can't afford $7 for a thing of ink, but I want all the colors. So I'd rather have them at $7 or $3.50 a piece than $7 a piece. So that's given me a little pink edge around it, which I think will show up better against this background. I'm going to do this evening stroll in the garden one. Of course, you can't do that at Valentine's Day around here, but we do that a lot when we have a garden growing, whether it's just the plants and the flowers in the flower bed. But last year, Brian started some acorns in his refrigerator out in the garage, and so we were walking the yard every couple of days looking at his trees after he planted them. And it'll be really interesting this spring to see how they survive the winter. He had a couple dozen, I think, maybe 20 some trees planted last year, and now he's got a couple hundred more to plant. So that will be something we'll do a lot this summer, I would imagine. And when we used to live at our last house, I put a lot more time into my flower gardens back then. And it was something that I would do every evening when I got home from work after I changed into something comfy, is I would walk around the house and around my gardens and see what was blooming. I had a lot of perennials. And since Carson was born 25 years ago, I don't do that as often. I don't have as much garden. Let him finish the story you started. That's something we definitely do. I will start a story, just remind him of a story he needs to tell someone, and then he'll finish it. I do that a lot. So this dauber is the foam with the rounded edges instead of the flat edges. I normally use the flat ones, so I'm kind of getting the feel for this. Picking out cloud shapes. I just like that one because it seems kind of romantic. Something we probably don't do enough is just lay down on the grass and look up at the sky. To me, that's the most basic way to relax and connect with the earth and just get grounded and admire the beauty of the world. So there's 5. Telling him you love him this much. I gotta do that one. So you'll notice that I kind of hold the paper close to where I'm inking. I do get some on my fingers, but I find that way it kind of holds the paper rigid, and I'll sort of stretch it between 2 fingers to hold it rigid to get those edges inked. Probably end up giving myself carpal tunnel from doing that, but that's what I do. Now this one is already edged or corner rounded, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this with the pink as well. These tags are already inked with Vintage Photo, but I might still add pink to it. I'm going to try it and see. I had about 100 of those tags. I think I used a lot of them up in Happy Mail since Christmas, but I still can make a bunch more, so I'm not worried about if I don't like it. I'll just try it and see if I like it. It's only paper. And in this case, in the case of these tags, it's recycled cardstock. It's not even something I purchased. So that's pretty with the pink edging. I'm going to do it on the back side too. This is a card that was like the backing from a product I purchased. You can see the hang tag hole with the oval bottom is like from a backing of stickers or something. I don't remember what it was. I save all kinds of things like that to reuse as cardstock. So I covered it with coffee dyed paper on the back so it can be a journaling card. And then it's a collage on the front. I'll often mass make things like that when I don't really feel creative. I will just do a strip collage or something where you don't have to think too much. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm curious to see how the two colors will look. So adding the pink when there's already vintage photo on there. Certainly changes the look of the pink a little bit. Not too much different than what it looked like on the Love Is things because they were aged. They were naturally that vintage photo color, just from time. I like the way that looks. I knew I would. And then the back side here, this was bakery boxes, and I have a video where I did these tags out of bakery boxes. I had the right color of brown. It's kind of got a waxy or a plasticky coating on it, but it's taken the ink okay. And it would need probably a special sort of pen, like not a ballpoint pen, but a marker to write on it, fine tipped marker. But you could certainly write on it. Now that doesn't have rounded corners at the bottom. Maybe I should round the corners. I find when you're putting it in and out of an envelope, it works best if you have a rounded corner. It doesn't get stuck. I'll just go over those corners a bit. So that's looking good. We'll do a journaling card and a tag. And then I guess we could do another journaling card. Again, I don't know who gave me this, but I think I got it in a swap or in Happy Mail of some sort. I'm going to do a little bit bigger corner on this. And the back is white, so I'm going to maybe do some stenciling or inking on the back. It's got a bit of glue on it too, but I'm not worried about that. Maybe it'll end up with some lace or something around the edge. I've got this little piece of parchment is coming up, and it is really hard to get parchment to stick, so no criticism. I'm just gonna add some tacky glue right under that edge and squeeze it out. Probably needs to be 3-in-1 really, but that'll do. And then let's ink this in the pink as well. I do have some different browns that I could try, but I'm kind of just wanting to do these with the pink. The papers that I'm going to use with them, the pink will work. And like I said, I saw that idea quite a while ago and never did it. So today's the day. It's meant to be. I was a little panicked when I saw that I didn't have my vintage photo with me. Quite panicked, actually, to be honest, because I want to do a bunch of videos today and a bunch of crafting today, but I'll just use some other brown. I've got this brown from Pure Palette Clay Shades, retro brown, and so it might be good to show the difference, how the different inks go on and how the colors are. I don't know if you can see that. I've got like a glossy spot where there was some glue all the way around the outside edge like it was glued to something before. Maybe didn't stay stuck. So I'm going to need to do something there. Maybe I'll do some lace or some ripped paper around the edges or something. My brain's working on it. Okay, and then I've got this square one, which I think I might want to try a fancy edge stamp. Or not stamp, punch. I don't know if I'll have one real handy to use. If not, I'll just do the corner rounder. I don't have anything right handy, so I'll just use the corner rounder on it. I like the idea of a square card instead of always being a rectangle. I don't know that it's a perfect square, but it's certainly square-ish. And then just for fun, let's do this one in the brown just to see what it's like. I'm just going to grab another dauber to change it out. I only have one of these handles with me right now. That's another thing that I will buy periodically on Temu, just get a half price one so that I have extras, so I don't have to do this all the time. So I just want to see how this retro brown, which is what Temu called it. It doesn't say that on the label. Well, it might, but it's all in Chinese writing. So I paid $1.91 for this one from Temu, and it's called Retro Brown. And we'll just see how it compares to, I'm pretty sure that is Vintage Photo, or at the very most it would be, what's that other darker one that I use? I'm just getting this really well saturated. It was just looking too pale to make a difference. And I'm just going to put it onto, I've got this tiny little tag here first. Yeah, this is almost a bit reddish for my liking. It might work okay with this pink stuff. But compared to the Vintage Photo, it looks quite red. You'd almost think I had the pink ink mixed in with it. It's so red looking. So I'm not really crazy about that, to be honest. I'll do it anyway. Sometimes you just have to go with it, and like they say, work through the ugly, what you think is ugly, and maybe someone else will think it's just perfect. Talk about this a few times, how as my jewelry making and crafting years, I would have some things that I wanted to take apart because they weren't pretty to me, and then I would show them to people and they would want them. They would think they were awesome. So just because you don't like where it's going, sometimes you have to just power through it and go ahead and do it. And it'll all be fine in the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. So just keep crafting until you're happy with it. Hopefully your patience doesn't run out before that happens. Okay. So let's see what we can do for decorating. Bringing out the best in each other. I like this kind of down in the corner, I think. We've got writing going all different directions here, so I'm not sure. And Stop and Smell the Roses is something I have a couple of the words for. I think it'll definitely fit on here, and it might fit on here. So I'm gonna fussy tear around this one so it'll fit better. And I'm tearing the part that I'm keeping towards me and pushing the other paper away, and you can see you're getting that white line. Sometimes I want that white line and I'll ink it up really dark. This time, because I don't have a good dark brown today, I don't want to have to ink something that big. So that's why I'm tearing it the way that I am. Sometimes I intentionally do it the opposite way so that I get that wide white piece as part of what I'm keeping. But today I don't have my vintage photo with me, so I'm going to do it this way, and then I'll use this brown to just accent that edge a little bit. I would probably like it a lot with the vintage photo or that other darker one that I use. I like the way pink looks with dark brown. I'm just going to look in my ink thing again and see if I have a darker brown than this one. I don't think I do. And that butterfly got some broken wings, so I might cover him up. I have a black, a dark green, silver and gold. There's another brown, but it's the same sort of reddish brown. What's it called? It doesn't have a name. We'll go with what we got. And maybe what I'll do is layer something underneath it, like this gingham that I really like. I'm going to tear a piece of this into a strip. And I think I will ink this white edge with pink, creating some really good scraps here for collaging that I might be able to use later. So I think I'm going to put this like this. So about there. And I'll ink this in pink. Has a fresh look to it when you ink in a color instead of the brown, even though I'm combining it with a bunch of vintage papers, coffee dyed and vintage stuff. So something like that. And then I need something behind this as well. Maybe the other side of the paper, because it's coordinating. So I will cut a piece. I want to put it down in this corner. Cut a little bit wider piece. Tear off the bottom edge of it. And I could have that going up underneath the other things, like that. Yeah, I think so. And again, I'll use the pink ink here, I think. It's about the color of those roses and flowers on the brown paper. I might do brown over top of it. I feel really silly because I have two sets of the minis of the vintage photo, the 4-pack with vintage photo, black, gray, and I can't remember the name of that other dark brown that I use. I have them, 2 of them, and the refills for the 2 browns, and they're both at my dad's. So that was really silly of me. I remembered to bring my ripple scissors because last time I came home I didn't have them with me, but I forgot my inks. Okay, and then maybe another little word down here, I'm not sure, but let's get this down. So we'll start with this big piece, which was the last piece in our puzzle. I'm just going to grab a brochure to glue on. It's an old catalog, I better not use that. My Home Depot statement. So the big piece first. I really hate when you have to cover up the part that you really liked, but that's the thing with double-sided paper. It just is what it is. So I tend to use glue stick and then the tacky glue around the edges. I just find it lasts better long term. I've had a lot of things after they dry out, just with the only glue stick, they just don't stay stuck. So the glue stick is good for giving you an all-over adhesive. And then the tacky glue prevents those corners and edges from curling up. And I just give it a good rub down, usually with my finger. I had been trying to use a bone folder. I tend to do that if I'm doing big sheets of paper and I'm collaging them. I use either a bone folder or a credit card or something like that, a gift card, to smooth the glue out to the edges. But my finger works well for smaller pieces. And then these guys will go down here. So I kind of want to back them with something too. Maybe something more pink, like this paper with the red. And that'll give them some strength. Oh, this would be pretty. This is the right tone. So let's do this with the ripple scissors. And I'll have it on like a frame around them, but rippled. Or maybe square. Let's see here. I'm not going to see a whole lot of it. I could do 2 square edges and 2 rippled edges, just to be kind of like saying, did you notice? And I would like to do this with the brown edge ink. To accentuate that rippled edge against the beige papers. I'm just not sure if I can leave that square. I think I've got to ripple it. I know there's probably nothing wrong with leaving it square. It's just not the way I like to do things. So I don't know if we'll do these all in one video. I might do a few videos because I don't like them to be too long. Now this is going to be maybe tricky to use the glue stick on. The back side has like glitter. It's not coming off. I'll give it a try. Put a good layer of glue stick. Nice and warm in here today, so it's coming off in a nice amount. And then tacky glue. About a 1/16 of an inch from the edge, I would say. And that way when I give it its little rub down, it's going to squeeze right out to the edge. And I want that up a little bit. I don't want it to go all the way down to where the bottom of the other page is. And it just occurred to me that would have been cute if it was like a little flip out or a booklet that they were the cover of, or even a pocket. But let's go with this for now. I just think that these little pieces of paper are special enough that they deserve to be kind of framed out. But you know what else I'm going to do that's maybe non-conventional is I'm going to put them off center on this little frame. Like that. Instead of trying to get them dead center, I just line up the bottom edge and the side as best I can. And that tacky glue is allowing me just enough slipperiness to move that down. That's the other thing I like about adding the tacky glue. That liquid glue just gives you a little more slipperiness, I guess you would say. And then I can layer these up. I had that like that and like that, didn't I? Again, just about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. That there. This is actually like a cardstock paper, so it's got a bit of a thickness to it. So what I might do is take some of these other little scraps and put them on the back of this so that it's not stressed when it's trying to lay flat. It'll have that same thickness underneath it. I hate to waste this paper, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm just going to put this just above here. And that way, when this Stop and Smell the Roses is spanning it's going to be supported underneath. And I could even put another little piece of it out under here. Because this seems to be a little bit thinner. So just underneath the word roses at the end here, just making sure it doesn't show, just to give it a little bit of support. And then I'll take and put glue all the way around and all through the middle too. I didn't use the glue stick here. And then get that where I want it. I want it offset a little bit. And then if you put that under something heavy, it'll really help it to stay down. And then on the back side, I can use some of these strips. What I'll do here is just take away that straight edge and put a ripple on it. Maybe even, well, I can trim off the corner. If I glue this right on the edge, actually I could go in a little bit. I'm going to go in a little bit, then I will round this corner if it'll let me. I can get it in there. I don't think it's square enough. I'll have to just do it like this. And then I can put it, basically to cover up this glob of glue, is put this. And I'll ink this with the brown because it's got the white edge. starting to see how I think. Could probably be inked with the pink edge too, but I do want it to look a little bit old. And I'm just thinking that that white background isn't really pleasing to me either. I'm wondering if I should glue something else down before I put this on, which would even defeat the purpose of this even. Maybe what I'll do is some stenciling on here. I've got a mandala stencil handy. Right on the top of the pile. That I can use to just make that not so white. Maybe I'll do it in this brown since I have it out. I have the dauber on the brown right now. It's got the pink around the edges, and then it's going to have some pink papers, pink with brown. If you're concerned about the stencil moving, you can tape it down. I'm just holding it really firmly. If it moves on you, you're going to get like a hazy looking design. That's really pretty. It almost looks like a rose gold when it's like that. Which is very pretty. Put that back in its bag just to keep the chaos to a bit of a minimum. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I think that's going to look really nice. So a fairly good bit, this is cardstock, so a fairly good bit of tacky glue. Going pretty close to the edges. And I do have a bit of this brown paper with the pink flowers as well. And I will ink it just in case some of the white shows from the edge of the paper. I do like things inked. Might not be visible on the camera, but I feel like it really does make a difference. And this I might want to tuck underneath here. I'm going to put this piece over here. We've got a glob of glue here that we could use a corner piece for. So I might take this. Actually, I guess I could do it here. And just do this. And cut myself a little, or rip myself a little corner. I'm going to go a little bit more of an inside curve there. And that can overlap the pink ones. And then maybe the same thing up in this corner. There's not, oh, there is a bit of glue there. thinking I'd like some of this too. So this will work. Oh, ripple. It's hard to cut or to tear a tiny little bit off of the edge. That's why I use the ripple scissors there. So like that, and then I'll put another little piece of this just so it doesn't look too planned, I guess. I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for there. I really was excited when I saw this glittery polka dot paper, but it doesn't really go with the vibe of the vintage newspaper clipping, right? It's maybe too sparkly for me for some reason. I'm enjoying the more muted pinks and inks. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, that wasn't reaching all the way to the pink one, was it? I don't have to worry about that. Put this up here, leaving that inked edge exposed. I don't know if you can hear that chainsaw going outside. Hubby's out there cutting firewood. I would imagine that that will show up on the video because that's pretty loud, but it's the sound of warmth. So we'll let it be. I told him, he said, put up a sign on the door if you're going to be filming today. I said, well, just assume that I'm going to be filming every time you come in because that's what I'm here for today, is to film. Not without sacrifice. It's foot day at my dad's. Everyone's getting pedicures, and I was supposed to be there too, but I needed to do this worse. I needed to craft for my own sanity, and I needed to share it with you. Very unusual for me to miss foot day unless something big's going on. The last one I missed was a day that Ryan got hurt on the job site and I had to take him to the hospital. Usually it's something like that. I guess my mental health is important enough to miss it. So just kind of creating a frame, and the reason was because there was some glue spots, so I'm covering that up. Seems like a lot of fussing, but I think it's going to look really cute. And I think I'm just going to try to find a little flower or a piece of lace or something to go along with on the back here too, or maybe something else on the front. Not sure. I do like the buffalo check accent a lot. I'm just going to tuck that one up underneath the pink and have it overlapping the pink over here. And then I said I was going to use this little piece just to bridge this gap. That's why I didn't just immediately throw all those little pieces I tore off. I didn't just throw them in the garbage. I might at the end of the day, but for now, I'm going to try to use them. So you can still write on that background. These could have been tuck spots too, but they would have been a little shallow. I could have made this one a bigger swoop here and it would have made a good tuck spot. So that's really making me feel happy. I like that a lot. This could use just a little bit of pink ink. And then we'll get that under something heavy till we're done the other ones. So I'll just put it right underneath my ink box. And let's see, what's our time? We're at 55 minutes. So I think that's probably long enough. I'll come back and do a couple more with you, and we'll have these online leading up to Valentine's Day, which is just in a few days. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the pink ink, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.